In a world where cunning men rule and fools are ruled, the greatest danger is not weakness, but stupidity without awareness. Kingdoms do not fall from war, they fall from foolishness within. Empires collapse, lives are ruined. And here is the truth most refuse to face: you may already be one of them. You may already carry the signs. You think you are safe. You think your good intentions will protect you. They will not. They will expose you. In every court, in every room, in every unseen exchange between men, one fatal mistake remains the deadliest of all: believing that kindness will save you. But this is not how the game of power is played. Today, we unmask 6 fatal traits, 6 silent blades that turn men into pawns. If you do not learn to recognize them in others and in yourself, you will be manipulated, defeated, and forgotten. As Machiavelli warned, a prince who surrounds himself with fools will soon become one. Look closely, because after this, you will never look at yourself or the world the same way again. The first fatal mistake every fool makes is this: the blind belief that kindness will protect him. He thinks that if he smiles, lowers his guard, gives respect freely, he will be shielded from the treachery of the world. He wears his goodness like armor, believing it will defend him from betrayal, from cruelty, from the jagged claws of ambition. But this is not how the game of power is played. In truth, kindness, when offered without calculation, is not a shield, it is a target. The wolves do not fear kindness, they feast on it. They smell the softness, the naivety, the weakness, and they move in. Watch him in the room. He apologizes for what he did not do. He tolerates insults wrapped in polite tones. He laughs nervously when others cross his boundaries. He gives and forgives without hesitation, trusting that if he is good to the world will be good to him. But the powerful do not admire this. They despise it. In their eyes, kindness without purpose is not virtue, it is vulnerability laid bare. And the more he bends, the more others push. The more he offers, the less he is valued. The more he tries to be liked, the more invisible he becomes. He says yes when he means no. He offers help where none was asked. He remains endlessly available, endlessly willing, endlessly eager to be accepted. But here is the brutal truth: the world does not reward the kind, it uses them. The manipulators know this, the takers know this, the narcissists know this, and while he continues to give, they continue to take. He does not understand. In the game of power, kindness is not a strategy, it is a mistake. He believes his compassion will change the world. In reality, it only changes how quickly the world will consume him. The wolves do not see him as noble, they see him as food. The second fatal mistake is this: thinking that speaking more makes you heard. The fool speaks because he fears silence. He believes that if he fills the air with words, he will be noticed. He will be understood. He will be respected. But this is the delusion of the weak. The more he speaks, the more he reveals, and the more he reveals, the more others can manipulate him. Watch him in any room. Within moments he gives away everything: his thoughts, his desires, his weaknesses. He does not guard his mind. He wears it like an open book. His beliefs spill out, his plans unfold, his vulnerabilities exposed, and he thinks this makes him authentic, genuine, honest, but in reality, it makes him a fool. The wise man listens. He observes, he watches, carefully, as the game unfolds. He does not reveal his cards before the game has even started. The foolish man does the opposite. He cannot keep his mouth shut. Words flow from him like a river, uncontrolled and reckless. He speaks not because it is necessary, but because he fears the emptiness that comes with silence. He talks to be liked, to be seen, to be heard. But in doing so, he shows his true self to the predators in the room. And the predators? They listen, study, and plot. They take note of his weaknesses, his desires, his fears. Every word he speaks is ammunition in their hands. And he remains oblivious, thinking that his openness will earn him admiration, when in truth it only makes him prey. The third fatal mistake is this: thinking that trust is a gift. The fool believes that by opening his heart, by giving his trust freely, he will earn loyalty, respect, and safety. He assumes that all people share his good intentions, that the world is filled with those who act in good faith. But this is a grave illusion. Trust is not a gift. It is a weapon, a strategic advantage that must be earned, tested, and carefully guarded. The fool hands it out like candy, expecting others to honor it, to cherish it, to return it. But the world is not kind. And those who earn trust without proving their value are the very ones who will betray it. Watch how the fool blindly trusts those who flatter him, those who smile just right, those who tell him exactly what he wants to hear. He opens up to them, shares his plans, his secrets, his vulnerabilities, believing that by doing so he strengthens his bond with them, but in reality he is making himself vulnerable. He is putting his fate in the hands of those who have not earned it. The manipulator, the opportunist, the predator, these are the people who thrive on his trust, and while he gives it freely, they take it and use it against him. Trust in the world of power is not freely given. It is earned through consistency, through time, through actions. To trust too easily is to abandon reason and to walk blindly into the hands of those who will use and discard him. The third fatal mistake is this: thinking that trust is a gift. The fool believes that by opening his heart, by giving his trust freely, he will earn loyalty, respect, and safety. He assumes that all people share his good intentions, that the world is filled with those who act in good faith. But this is a grave illusion. Trust is not a gift, it is a weapon, a strategic advantage that must be earned, tested, and carefully guarded. The fool hands it out, like candy, expecting others to honor it, to cherish it, to return it, but the world is not kind. And those who earn trust without proving their value are the very ones who will betray it. Watch how the fool blindly trusts those who flatter him, those who smile just right, those who tell him exactly what he wants to hear. He opens up to them, shares his plans, his secrets, his vulnerabilities, believing that by doing so, he strengthens his bond with them. But in reality, he is making himself vulnerable. He is putting his fate in the hands of those who have not earned it. The manipulators know this, the opportunists know this, the predators know this. And while he continues to trust, they continue to prepare their knife. The wise man watches first. He listens. He tests. He gives small pieces of trust and observes. But the fool leaps. He hands over keys before learning the nature of the gatekeeper. And then he is shocked when the door he unlocked leads to a trap. He never asks the right questions. He never watches closely enough. He never considers that those who smile the brightest may be the ones most desperate to deceive, and so he walks blindly into the hands of those who will use him and discard him. The fourth fatal mistake is this: the desperate need to be liked. There is a subtle difference between a man who wants to be respected and one who simply wants to be liked. The former commands power, the latter bleeds for attention. And the fool? He almost always chooses the latter. He walks into every room with one question in mind: do you like me? He craves validation, adoration, acceptance. He bends over backward to make others feel comfortable, to fit in, to be praised. He will agree with those he privately disagrees with. He will laugh at jokes that insult him. He will praise those he secretly resents. Why? Because in his mind, if everyone likes him, no one will harm him. But this is an illusion. The man who seeks validation will always be controlled by those who give it. One compliment turns him loyal. One rejection ruins his day. One cold glance throws him off balance. Those who give validation control him completely. Watch him in any room. He over-explains. He over-apologizes. He agrees with the majority even when it violates his own truth. He mistakes fitting in for strength. He believes that being liked is safer than standing alone. But the powerful do not beg for approval. They set the standard others admire. They hold boundaries. They create distance. They do not chase validation. They command respect. The fool does the opposite. The more he tries to be liked, the more invisible he becomes. He lays himself bare, thinking vulnerability alone will earn admiration. Instead, it earns contempt, and while he waits desperately for praise, the predators in the room pull the strings. He becomes a puppet, one easily ignored, easily replaced, easily forgotten. The fifth fatal mistake is this: allowing emotions to dictate your actions. The fool thinks his emotions are a sign of strength, when in truth, they are his chains. He reacts not because he is brave, not because he is honest, but because he is weak. One insult, and he explodes. One setback, and he collapses. One betrayal, and he is consumed by vengeance he cannot deliver. He lashes out. He panics. He celebrates too early. He mourns too publicly. He brags when he should be silent. He threatens when he should be still. He reveals his pain. He broadcasts his fear. He exposes his hunger for revenge. He argues with those beneath him. He crumbles in front of those above him. He thinks that showing emotion makes him authentic, powerful, respected. But what he does not see is this: emotion is a weapon, and he is wielding it against himself. The more he reacts, the more predictable he becomes. His enemies do not need to guess his next move. They already know what will set him off. One insult and he will lash out. One challenge and he will retreat. One disappointment and he will unravel. He is a puppet, dancing on the strings of his own impulses. Watch him when things go wrong. He complains. He seeks pity. He blames others. He tells everyone how unfair the world has been to him, and with every word he confirms what the strong already suspect: he is not built to endure. A wise man understands his emotions. He uses them, but he never lets them use him. He knows that in the game of power, the most dangerous man is the one who remains calm while the world around him, the fool, he reacts, and in doing so he seals his own fate. The sixth and final mistake is the most dangerous of all: refusing to take responsibility. He never looks in the mirror. He looks outward, always outward, searching for someone else to blame for his failures. When he falls, it was the fault of others. When he is rejected, it was envy. When he is passed over, it was injustice. Never once does he ask, what weakness in me allowed this to happen? Because to do so would require self-awareness, and that is what he fears most. He convinces himself the world is plotting against him when in truth the world simply does not care. He believes others are responsible for his stagnation, his poverty, his irrelevance. It was the system, it was his parents, it was his boss, it was his friends, it was fate. But never does he admit the far more dangerous truth, that his own poor decisions, undisciplined habits, and emotional impulsiveness created the very trap he now lives in. And so he remains trapped, because a man cannot fix what he refuses to admit is broken. He cannot grow if he insists there is nothing wrong with him. He cannot adapt if he believes he is always the victim. And when others around him rise, what does he do? He attacks them, he mocks those who succeed, he surrounds himself with those who confirm his delusions, he prefers comfort over truth, flattery over confrontation, and so he spirals deeper into mediocrity. Blind to the brutal but obvious reality, his greatest enemy lives within his own refusal to take responsibility. Now you have seen him, not the fool in rags, but the fool in disguise. The man who believes he is clever, yet reveals his stupidity with every word, every reaction, every excuse. He surrounds himself with noise, with praise, with illusion, never silence, never truth, and because of that, he is doomed to remain powerless. Most will never choose the second path, the road to self-mastery, to ruthless honesty, to confronting the darkness within. It is not a path for the faint-hearted. It is the road less traveled, the road that demands everything from you. And most will not choose it. Most will stay in the comfort of their illusions, clinging to their pride, hiding behind excuses. They will stay in their safe little world, pretending that the life they lead is all they need, all they want. But here is the truth. They are the forgotten ones. They are the invisible ones. They will never be feared. They will never be respected. And they will never leave a mark on this world. But those who choose the second path, the path of self-mastery, become something different. they become dangerous, they become respected, they become unstoppable, not for their kindness, not for their willingness to please, but for the strength they possess, for the boundaries they hold, for the uncompromising truth they live by. These are the ones who shape the world, not the ones who are shaped by it. You have seen the signs, you have felt the weight of the choice. The question is, what will you choose?